Hello, voidlings. It's morning here for me. I'm not coming in with any particular downloads, but as soon as I started tuning in, a dog was barking, and I heard, I asked, who is this a reading for? And I heard someone who's breaking through, someone who's having a breakthrough, and that dog started barking. And I was like, okay, someone's speaking up, someone's speaking their mind, someone's telling their truth. I'm getting that it's uncomfortable. Okay, so a lot of us light workers, we've been in a position of being the empath, right? Being overly empathetic, overly adaptable, overly accommodating, a lot of overdoing, overgiving, a lot of shape-shifting, a lot of minimizing our own experience to accommodate others because we're so deeply empathetic. It's like we're willing to give up our own for them, right? Because we believe them, we see them, we feel them, and to people like us who are so sensitive, sometimes other people's realities feel even louder than ours, right? And this is, this does have a foot in codependency, right? A lot of the empath narcissist cycle, it's not that it's literally always between an empath and a narcissist. It's just the dynamic of one person who is more, it's like there's one person who needs to be needed and be of service, and the other person who needs to be kind of validated and accommodated, if that makes sense. I mean, both are seeking the same thing. It's two sides of the same coin. It's just one person usually has more emotional awareness. But it seems like someone's having a breakthrough around this, okay? So no longer willing to, New Moon and Capricorn, your hard work is paying off. So someone here is definitely having a breakthrough and some sort of subconscious structural boundary. Some sort of psychological framework is shifting. And this is going to cause a huge glow up for you and this is what we've been talking about the last couple readings were about, essentially, like, you have changed. There has been a fundamental shift internally that is now beginning a process of triggering external shifts. So all your hard work, your patience, your due diligence, and the self-care, the shadow work, all of the, this healing journey you've been on is actually starting to pay off. You're actually evolving into the next version of you, like tangibly, which is super powerful. And I feel like a lot of us are being triggered into this. This is all a part of the ascension journey that we've been led to and that we've been on, right? Because we're needed at this time. And a higher level, more mature version of us light workers and empaths is needed. So we're no longer getting in these cycles of codependency and fulfilling our duty and service in just the realm of one-on-one personal relationships. We need to learn how to serve ourselves and God first, because that is how we're going to be of greater benefit to the collective. And it seems selfish to the empath, but it's not. It's actually the path of individuation, which is something that Carl Jung talks about a lot. You can Google it. Okay. This is about becoming a full, whole being, integrating all the parts of yourself and moving from that place. New Moon in Aries, it's time to take action. This is about you leading the charge, you being the leader of your own life. And likely if you're here, you've never fully done this before. There have been inklings, right, of your leadership abilities, of your power, but you've never been able to fully step into it because you kept ending up in these spaces of servitude within relationships. I just heard it's like Olive Garden. If you're here, you're family. If you're here, you're family. Like, I'm preaching to the choir that is you, that is me. Like, if you're here, we're fam. Like, I get it. Confirmation chirp from the catbird, was that? Hello! It's the catbird. There's a catbird that lives in this backyard. Hi! Hello. I'm gonna like turn this and see if you can see it. I don't know if you can, but you're not gonna be able to see that, but you know, whatever. I'm trying to give you the ambiance. Hello. What a cutie. I just heard the full weight of responsibility, the full weight of self-responsibility. Yeah, that's this next step. Because that was a part of it too in the codependent cycle as an empath, is you didn't have to accept the full responsibility of self when you were in that dynamic. How do I explain that? I don't know if I can explain that right now. Still waking up. I think because a lot of us are being initiated into more of a solo journey at this time. Not that we're alone, but I am feeling like a lot of people I'm speaking to are maybe single for the first time in a long time or have been single for a while. And there's just this next level embodiment of self that's emerging. Okay, both of these really want to come out. Oh, okay. Well, we're going to leave this out because this is the theme for the reading, I guess. Your hard work is paying off. There are dividends for the efforts you have made, for the things that you have been through. There are rewards for that work, okay? And we also have full moon in Cancer. A personal issue reaches resolution. A karmic loop has been resolved here. This has to do with time and timing, right? This has to do with the consequences of our actions and the consequences of embodying our feelings and our truth, right? So there is definitely closure here. There is a completed cycle. The Capricorn Cancer axis, right? And it's interesting that the full moon is in Cancer. So it's really the completion is taking place in the emotional body, which is really what ends things. When your heart finally catches up to your mind, that's when the cycle ends, right? Wow. Okay, we'll leave that out. Oh, look at this tiny baby feather. So cute. Itty bitty. It's literally like the size of my fingertip. Ah! Okay, I'm going to put this in front of the camera, and I want you to make a wish. Project your wish into this feather. One that I will say out loud for everyone here is to be interesting, financially and willfully sovereign. To experience the full depth and capacity of who you are, to reach your highest potential and highest timeline, and integrate fully with the deepest aspects of yourself. To embody the truth of who you are, to share it proudly, loudly, without shame, and to experience no longer the depth of your suffering, but the depth of your capacity to feel all things and to experience life to the fullest. No longer afraid of what that means. Amen. All right. Let's see what else is going on. What's the message today, Spirit? Our hard work is paying off from the inner work. We're reaching the next stage of maturity. Wow, the collective, exactly. That's what I was saying. A lot of us have been stuck in these interpersonal loops, but this is hard to accept, but we belong to the collective. We don't belong to one person. We belong to the collective. That doesn't mean we can't have like friendships or one-on-one connections, right? It just means like too much of our energy was going there. And now we're integrating the higher aspect of us, well, all aspects of us, right? There's this completion with that Ouroboros energy, the spiral. which is deeply tied to Cancer, actually, that spiral of life, the phases, the moon cycles. This feels kind of like the World card to me. Like this is about completion of a major spiral, integrating back into the collective field from where we will be emerging as something new. On behalf of the collective, yeah. Interesting, I just heard, like a tree, it shatters doubt. So it's bringing me back to the Capricorn aspect of just like the tangibility of it. So something's occurring where there's no doubt in your mind that you are connected to the collective consciousness, that you are connected to source, that everything is connected, that you are a part of this unified field of consciousness. It's tangible now. Like a tree, it shatters all doubt. So a tree is something that's very real. It shatters any doubt of existence, right? Of the multidimensionality of life, the power of life, right? You're stepping into that fullness, and I hear that there's freedom in that. There's so much freedom. And fully embodying who you are in this human 3D reality so that you can ground more higher spiritual energy. Fierce. Love that. Taurus. Interesting, because we were just talking about trees and embodying the earth aspect. So this is something that you're integrating more into. Interesting. I feel like a lot of you have been doing so much inner work, right? You've been in a very, very deep inward spiral. But now the spiral's externalizing. We had that collective card. So you're doing more out in the world. This Taurus card, you're doing more out in the world, literally, probably learning more about money, maybe changing your work, your habits, your routine. Really feeling into your senses, sensuality, enjoying life, enjoying being human, enjoying the earth plane. It's funny that's the next step. Because for a long time we've been in this inward spiral that's been deeply spiritual. But now we have that Capricorn energy. We have that Aries energy. We have this Taurus energy. This is about rebirth and embodiment in the physical world. I just heard let them cook. Okay, so there's something new you're doing out in the physical world. Interesting. Wow. Yeah, there's definitely a theme here. Look at this. Cancer, again, decay, and freaking tree magic. I literally was just talking about trees. Remember that trees have roots that are unseen. Remember that trees gather sunlight and perform this incredible act of photosynthesis. Remember how trees breathe in carbon dioxide and release oxygen. Think about that process of death and rebirth. Inhale, exhale, right? The phases of the moon. There are all these different life cycles, and you are exiting one and entering another, right? Things decay so that things like trees can live, right? There are also things like certain fungi who live on dying trees. I'm hearing it's about symbiosis. This is about the symbiosis of the aspects of yourself. You're integrating parts of you that are allowing you to be in this state of wholeness, to be in this place of composting and digesting certain aspects of self to integrate and incorporate into the new. So it's not a loss. You're not losing anything. It's becoming incorporated. Ooh, that could be literal. That could be relevant. Is someone incorporating or starting a business? But yeah, lost my train of thought, but that's wild. Cancer again. Yeah, also like the deeply feminine earth energies coming through to support you. I'm hearing it's a good time to honor the mother, Mother Gaia, Mother Mary, whoever you commune with that is of the divine feminine. Okay? The goddess. Maybe spending time with your actual mother. Or people who you admire that you look up to, right? That are these beacons of, I'm hearing not just hope for you, but like inspiration in how you can manifest what you desire from a place of integrity. But also know that this is growth. This is about a maturation process. This is about going from one phase of life to another. There's an up-leveling and a growth and a maturity here. So that's what happens. That's what happens. Things die so that they can nurture the soil for things to grow. So just know that anything that had to end, you know, and this has been coming up a lot in these readings. It's just Virgo at the bottom of the deck, service energy. Also fertility goddess. You know, whatever ended is composting at this time to allow for your growth and healing, okay? It's very important, actually, that you honor what is ending and not see it as a curse. Maybe not even see it as a blessing, you know? Like, you don't have to be happy about it, but honor the ending as the nurturance you need to create something new and to grow and to mature. There is a gratitude that can be felt without like needing to be happy about it or okay with it. The human aspect of you could be really upset that something's being laid to rest. But the higher aspect of you knows that it's just going to feed the new cycle, and there can be gratitude while you're feeling pain. Because contrary to popular New Age belief, you know you can feel two things at once, right? You know you can be in a state of love and gratitude and acceptance and still feel things like anger and fear, maybe even hate and loathing with love simultaneously. That's the power of integration and finding the third way, is that you can feel multiple things at once. And your chronic vibration has nothing to do with the day-to-day emotions. Because emotions are just energy in motion. They're constantly changing. That's that Cancer energy. It is like the tide. It is like the phases of the moon. They rise and fall. Those shifts and changes aren't who you are. They are important intel and information because it's the energy speaking and moving through and to you. But that's not who you are, and that's not what your vibration is. You are meant to be here on this earth and feel the full spectrum of human emotions and experience the fullness of your humanity and honor the humanity of others and not limit them to one thing or one potential, right? And also honor that within yourself, right? But sometimes certain things do need to be called out or called forward, and that's okay too. Because if you can't name it, you can't claim it. And that's the whole point of shadow work. And this is a lot of the work you've already done, right? Is to like name and claim these aspects of you that maybe you didn't have control over or were running the show. Like, they need to be called out and named and claimed in order to integrate with the other parts. Because who we are is simply consciousness and awareness of that consciousness. Everything else is an experience, and that's okay. But also, like, we are our experience too, in a way. Like, it's not who we are fundamentally, but it is who we are as a human. And I think it's important to honor that as well. That we do have this, like, eternal spiritual aspect of us that's having a human experience. And that part of us is simply consciousness and awareness. But we are still having a human experience in which we are experiencing different things. And it's fun to play with identity. You know, we're here just to experience and express our soul. And our soul does have things it wants to experience and ways it wants to express. And things it gravitates towards for whatever reason. I don't believe that it's all just psychological. Like, every single part of our personality is just an adaptation from pain or trauma. I don't believe that. I think there's certain things that our soul gravitates towards that are unique to us. And I think astrology can show us that. But yeah, if you want to break it down to the basic, most fundamental level, we are just consciousness. But I don't think that's the whole story. Anyway. 6 of Cups. Yeah, this is about integrating the inner child, but also integrating the past. Accepting the end. Integrating the past experience to take with you towards something new. What is going on here, Spirit? I just heard name it and claim it. So it's like, you're like, you have a, oh, okay, 6 of Cups came out again with the Empress. Oh, okay, I'm being corrected. It's not the inner child that's being integrated. It's the inner mother. This is about reparenting. So this graduation is from the archetype of the child to the mother. Taking that next step in maturity to be your own parent. So no longer acting purely out of the inner child or the shadow, right? There's an integration of this higher divine feminine aspect that is deeply protective and empathetic towards you. So turning that empathetic lens towards yourself. Taking care of you, nurturing you. What do you need? Right? What do you want? There's a lot of flies out here. Anything else, Spirit? I feel like this is going to be a shorter message, but still felt like I wanted to pop on. Also, y'all, I did start a membership. I'm not sure how often I'm going to be posting on there, but I still want to try it. I'm at least going to be doing a monthly collective reading. And ideally, like, one special members only reading a week. And yeah, it'd be great to have you over there. 8 of Cups, okay, but it came out with a huge chunk. Yeah, there's a lot of, like, this emotional movement with the Cancer energy of just, like, something's changing fundamentally in the way you feel, especially about a certain situation. Wow. Yeah, someone's making their way or has already made their way out of some sort of mental block or mental cage, mental loop. Like I said, this is about one of the first things I said was, like, this is a major shift in the basic structure of your psychological framework, right? So this is about a whole, oh my God, these flies are going crazy right now. I lost my train of thought. Spirit, bring it back. It's just like you're thinking differently now. It took you a minute, right? This was a situation that you're stuck in for quite some time. Something you kept investing in. And you just felt stuck. You kept investing, you kept working. And the only way out was to finally surrender to your higher wisdom and higher self. Because this thing was never going to grow, right? Not fully. It's like I'm seeing someone cutting away grass, and as soon as you cut away the grass, it grows back, right? And someone just was like, yeah, I can't wait anymore. I can't be here anymore. Be here. Those bees. Maybe this is something about community. Some community effort, or like a job situation where you kept putting in the work. Maybe you thought, yeah, eventually they'll see my efforts and they'll give me a promotion. No. And then as soon as you walk away, it's like you see the truth. Like, you know exactly what was going on there, and it was never going to change exactly. Oh my God. Especially as like all these flies are showing up. Something stinky. Uh-oh, stinky. Poopy. I don't know if you haven't seen that, I want to tell you to look it up, but also don't, because it's going to be in your head forever. And I just did that to myself, so I'm going to be probably repeating that all day. But yeah, this was a necessary end, okay? There was no other way around it. Sucks. There's like no way to sugarcoat that. Like, you tried, okay? You tried. You kept pushing the framework. You kept trying to make shit grow, and it wasn't growing. Your energy was not received there. So now you need to apply that to yourself. And that's where the major growth is going to occur, when you bring it more inward. Jeez. The flies and the ants. Probably because I'm starting to sweat. They're like, what's up, diva? All right, let's get like a couple more messages, and then I'll close with an oracle card. What else, Spirit? What do you want me to tell these fine folks on this Thursday morning? Also, obviously, this is relevant whenever you're seeing it. Okay? And welcome. Welcome to my channel. The Lovers. 9 of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. What is this Lovers card about? 6 of Cups again. Okay. What did I miss, Spirit? Why does the 6 of Cups keep coming up? Well, it's interesting because these are 2 6s, right? So it is about balance after conflict or challenge. So maybe just like things have been really tumultuous for a long time, and they're finally balancing out. What is the 6 of Cups about, Spirit? Why does this keep coming up? 10 of Cups. Choosing what is more fulfilling, or choosing to not choose what is not truly fulfilling to you. Yeah, you don't need to be a martyr for things that aren't working or that aren't giving back to you. This is about seeking balance and reciprocity, and wanting, not just wanting to, deserving to be honored and matched in your energy. Yeah, I saw 7 of Wands in reverse. So yeah, it's like you were having to hold something down for a long time, or I just get that there was a lot of effort with like no return, which like really sucks. Someone has a sibling. There's something about a sibling or a family member here, that there is, you're reaching a place of peace because you have integrated an aspect of yourself. You no longer need the same thing from this person. Like, you're realizing now that like you are so much like this family member, and because you've forgiven, I don't know, it could be 2 ways. It could be because you forgive this family member, you forgive yourself, or because you forgive yourself, you forgive this family member. Basically, you're realizing that this could be in a relationship too, like a romantic situation or whatever, that there was an equal opposite match. You were two sides of the same coin. And there's peace in understanding that. And use your discernment. But for someone here, it looks like it is possible to reconcile in a connection, especially familial showing up here, because of that integration, that forgiveness. But it has to be mutual is the thing. There has to be a mutual desire for reconciliation and all that. Like, it can't, because that's the cycle that's closing out, is the one-sidedness. Yeah, here it is. Oh, okay. I thought it was the Seven of Wands in reverse, but it's the Page of Wands in reverse. Is it supposed to be reverse, though? Yeah. Yeah, so maybe there was a little immaturity here, like when this thing happened or when it started, or for a while there's just some immaturity. Like, I'm hearing someone, yeah, this definitely could be a sibling parent situation. So like, I don't know if there's a conflict here with because we have two Gemini cards, and then we got the Six of Cups, and we have the Empress that keeps coming up. So it does feel like maybe I'm speaking to someone who has, this is about a family dynamic. Or perhaps you felt like there was a conflict with a sibling, and there was a parent, probably a mother, who was taking the other sibling's side. And you're kind of, to be honest, like calling them out on it. And you're like, I'm calling this out because I want a real connection. Like, your reality has to be validated in this in order for there to be reconciliation. So I feel like where before there's maybe some immaturity or like some combative energy, there's like a change taking place because your maturity is being reflected to you, because you're operating out of a more mature framework. It's being mirrored to you, if that makes sense. Anything else, Spirit? Yeah, and I did say, like, name it and claim it. Like, certain things can't be healed until they're made fully visible, right? Oh my God, the Empress again. Okay, what did I miss, Spirit? What's going on here? Five of Swords, Seven of Swords, Queen of Swords. Oh yeah, someone definitely spoke their truth. Okay, yeah, I'm hearing that someone spoke their truth or stood up for themselves, and they're having a really hard time with that because it's not normal for them to do so, especially as an empath. Like, that's extremely uncomfortable to finally step up and stand your ground after maybe a lifetime of self-abandonment. That is so destabilizing to your ego as an empath. Like, how dare I do that? You may have sent someone spiraling, but I think more you sent yourself spiraling, right? Because it's like Six of Cups again. What is going on? This is so weird. This has never happened. It might just mean that the reading's over. Like, I've said all I needed to say. Because usually if I do end with the same cards I began with, it means the reading's over. There's nothing more to say. This is about you standing in your fullness, integrating every aspect of who you are, and manifesting what is a true match to you. But okay, Spirit, is there something I missed though, or is this just the reading's over? Ace of Wands. I heard you initiated a new path with this, standing up for yourself. Did I miss anything, Spirit? Yeah, I just keep hearing integrating every aspect of who you are. Yeah, there's a deep healing with between your inner child and your inner mother. There's that's where the integration is occurring. And it's because you chose to stand in your truth. And this is initiating a new path. And what you don't see, this fell on the ground, 8 of Wands. Movement, change, expansion. You have initiated this. By unblocking your mind and allowing yourself to see the true reality of a situation and maybe even speak it aloud or into existence, cutting through illusions, ending the cycle of confusion that came from a place of, like I said at the beginning, placing another's reality above yours. This is what you're closing out. And now you're standing in your power, in your sovereignty, and it's initiating a brand new path. Some of you may actually be moving, and the Lovers again at the bottom of the deck. What is the Lovers about, Spirit? Is there anything else I missed? It's just about union, inner union. It's just reiterating that 6 of Cups energy. I'm also hearing like you have the tools the Fool. You have the tools you need now, not only to start this new path, but to begin kind of like acting in a different way. And then Death at the bottom of the deck. Look at that. Death, rebirth. This is a whole new version of you. And I don't know, not everyone might be ready for it. Might be like, oh, you're different, but it's like in a good way, right? You're stepping out into the world as a whole new version of you. Because you have integrated and healed the relationship between your inner child and your inner mother. It makes me so emotional. I just feel like, I know for me, there was so much inner conflict for so long, and my inner mother was so mean to me. She was highly critical and judgmental and perfectionistic, and I never felt safe. Not never, but for a long time I didn't feel safe within myself because I had this voice attacking me. And I had to do the shadow work and 2 years of intensive trauma therapy to realize that that voice was the voice of my own mother. It was a reflection of my own trauma from childhood, and I was reenacting that trauma within myself, and it was trickling out into all of my relationships. And I was projecting the role of my inner mother voice onto others. I couldn't trust people. And also because I was attracting people I couldn't trust to reinforce that dynamic and that identity and that way of seeing the world. But that cycle's over. I know it is for me. And if you're here, it either is for you now or this is what's coming, because this reading is going to awaken you into healing this relationship and this part of yourself, or these parts, bringing these parts back into union, the Lovers, right? And it could be literal and externalizing in other relationships outside of you. But the main focus here is that there is an internal shift that's creating the external shift. Okay? And that's on healing. And that's on doing the work, honey. All right, let's close with a white light oracle card. Ooh, 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 ooh. Just a little vocal stem. Okay. All right, Spirit. Let's close with a white light oracle card. Yeah, I just heard cut through the fog. cutting through the fog, cutting into clarity like a knife. Interesting. I meant to say like a knife, but I started to say like a light. We got this in the last reading. I might read it, but I want to see if we can get another one. Catbird. Hello. That's interesting because there was a catbird squawking in the tree when I first got this deck. And I was still like on the road in New York right after I got this deck and I did a reading. And there was a catbird right outside my car that was doing that very thing. Interesting. Okay. We have Vulva of Satyr. And I'm going to block this because it might get clocked. Sacred sorcery of Satyr from the Norse traditions of Scandinavia invokes the practice of cracking open an egg to read and also shape the future. We did get the Fool and it had an egg on it. The egg is a symbol of infinite potential and the protective boundary within which new life can develop. You are not at the mercy of your inheritance or your past, Six of Cups. You can work with your circumstances to bring forth the outcomes you desire. Vulva is a prophet practitioner of Satyr who utilizes intentional speech, Queen of Swords, to evoke healing prophecies that will manifest accordingly. Set your intention and speak your truth. Own your abilities. You are already manifesting magic. That's it. That's it. Speak your truth. Stay true. Yeah. And own your abilities. You are already manifesting magic. We did get the Magician. We got the Ace of Wands. It's time for you to own who you are and take that out into the world again. Be a part of the world again. A deeper part of the collective. A more integrated, a more active part of the collective. Okay, so you're coming out of the hermit's den and back out into the world. Enjoy. Okay, bye.